Move over Michelle, Yeoh. Zoe Saldana is Star Trek's newest Oscar winner. Star Trek gained a new Academy Award-winning actor when Zoe Saldana won the Best Supporting Actress Oscar for her role as Rita Mora Castro in Netflix' Amelia Prez. Saldana played Lieutenant Nyota Uhura in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek 2009, Star Trek Into Darkness, and Star Trek Beyond. Zoe's Oscar win puts her in rarefied air alongside the handful of other Star Trek actors who won Academy Awards. Zoe Saldana redefined the role of Lt. Uhura, which was originated by Nichelle Nichols in Star Trek, the original series. In Star Trek's alternate Kelvin timeline, the younger Uhura was a genius at xenolinguistics, and a Starfleet Academy peer of the future captain of the USS Enterprise, James T. Kirk Chris Pine. Uhura was also in a relationship with Commander Spock Zachary Quinto. Lt. Uhura played a pivotal role in the Starship Enterprise's saving the galaxy in all three J.J. Abrams produced Star Trek movies. Zoe Saldana is Star Trek's newest Academy Award-winning actress. With her Best Supporting Actress win for Amelia Prez, Zoe Saldana joins Michelle, Holly Hunter, Jamie Lee Curtis, and others as Oscar-winning actors in Star Trek. Yeoh played Captain Philippa Georgiou and Emperor Philippa Georgiou before winning the Best Actress Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeoh's Everything Everywhere co-star, Jamie Lee Curtis, also won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, and Jamie Lee cameos in Star Trek Section 31, which was headlined by Michelle Yeoh. Zoe Saldana stars in 3 of the 6 highest-grossing films of all time. Star Trek's next series in production, Star Trek Starfleet Academy, stars Holly Hunter, who won the Best Actress Oscar for The Piano, and has 3 other Academy Award nominations. Star Trek Starfleet Academy Season 1's recurring villain is played by Paul Giamatti, who was Academy Award nominated for his roles in Cinderella Man and The Holdovers. Along with her Oscar, Zoe Saldana stars in 3 of the 6 highest-grossing films of all time: Avatar, Avengers, Endgame, and Avatar, The Way of Water. Zoe Saldana hasn't played Lt. Uhura since Star Trek Beyond in 2016. Still, Zoe, along with her fellow Star Trek actors Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Carl Urban, Simon Pegg, and Sofia Boutella, has publicly expressed her desire to return to the Starship Enterprise. Star Trek IV remains in development, held despite a 2024 report that Steve Yockey was hired to write a new script. Perhaps Saldana becoming a newly minted Oscar winner could be the impetus to put Star Trek IV on the fast track. However, Zoe Saldana's Oscar could also change Star Trek IV if it happens. Lt. Uhura is generally considered a supporting character, although Saldana's version has had more agency in her Star Trek movies. It's possible Zoe's Oscar could make Uhura more of a lead character and make Star Trek's Big Three of Captain Kirk, Spock, and Dr. McCoy a quartet. It would be logical for Star Trek to take advantage of the gift that Zoe Saldana is now an Academy Award winner to put more urgency into getting Star Trek IV made. In a Hollywood galaxy not so far away, another star has gone supernova. Move over Michelle Yeoh, there's a new Oscar-winning force in the sci-fi universe, and her name is Zoe Saldana. For years, Saldana has graced our screens with grace, grit, and a commanding presence that transcends genre. She's walked among Na'vi in Avatar, danced across galaxies in Guardians of the Galaxy, and held her own as Lieutenant Nyota Uhura in Star Trek. And now, at long last, she has what even some of the most bankable stars dream of: Oscar Gold. At the 97th Academy Awards, Saldana took home the statuette for Best Actress, not for a blockbuster, but for a gripping, grounded indie film that reminded audiences, and finally, the Academy, that beneath the layers of prosthetics, pixels, and intergalactic warfare, Saldana is a once-in-a-generation talent. A long time coming, Zoe Saldana has quietly become one of the most commercially successful actresses of all time. She holds the unique distinction of starring in not 1, but 3 of the top 5 highest-grossing films ever made: Avatar, Avengers, Endgame, and Avatar, The Way of Water. Yet for over 2 decades, critical recognition seemed to orbit around her rather than land in her lap. That changed this year. Her Oscar-winning role was a far cry from phasers and alien languages. Saldana portrayed a real-life activist and journalist navigating political upheaval in Latin America, delivering a performance that critics called emotionally ferocious and heartbreakingly human. Gone were the CGI landscapes and choreographed combat. Instead, the film placed the camera close, almost uncomfortably so, on her face, where every flicker of pain, courage, and doubt played out like a silent symphony. It was raw. It was personal. It was long overdue. A Sky Fi starlet, reimagined, Michelle Yeoh's historic win in 2023 for Everything Everywhere All at Once was a seismic moment for Sky Fi actors and for Asian representation in Hollywood. It opened a door many feared would remain shut, that genre actors, often overlooked for more serious roles, could indeed wear the crown of prestige. With Saldana's win, that door is no longer open. It's been blasted off its hinges by a photon torpedo. What makes Saldana's win especially resonant is the arc of her career. She didn't pivot to drama in her later years in search of legitimacy. She brought legitimacy to Sky Fi, fantasy, and superhero films through sheer talent and charisma. In many ways, she's helped redefine what it means to be a serious actor. While some stars distance themselves from genre roles post-award, Saldana has leaned in. In her acceptance speech, she thanked not only her director and co-stars, but also every makeup artist who's ever turned me into a space traveler, every stunt coordinator who taught me to throw a punch, and every little girl who saw a brown woman on the bridge of the Enterprise and believed she belonged in the stars. Star Trek's legacy reignited. The Star Trek franchise has a proud history of breaking barriers, racial, gendered, and scientific. Nichelle Nichols' original portrayal of Uhura in the 1960s was itself groundbreaking, a beacon of representation in an era that sorely lacked it. Saldana's interpretation of Uhura carried that legacy into the modern age, imbuing the character with new depth, agency, and emotional weight. She wasn't just a communications officer, she was the heart of the crew, a brilliant linguist, a partner to Spock, and a symbol of dignity and strength. Now, Star Trek can add another milestone to its timeline, producing another Oscar-winning actor. With Yeoh, who portrayed Philippa Georgiou in Star Trek, Discovery, and Saldana both winning within 2 years of each other, it seems the final frontier has become a breeding ground for Academy-level excellence. Representation that matters. Zoe Saldana's Oscar win also carries cultural weight. As a Black Latina actress in Hollywood, her ascent has often defied the odds. Her success is not just personal, it's political. It sends a message to studios, audiences, and aspiring actors. Representation is not a trend. It's a necessity. Hollywood's relationship with diversity has always been complicated, often tokenistic. But stars like Saldana and the roles they choose are changing that narrative. They're proving that inclusion isn't a quota, it's a catalyst for better storytelling. This win isn't just for Zoe Saldana. It's for every young woman of color who's ever been told she doesn't look the part. It's for every genre actor whose work has been underestimated. And yes, it's for every Trekkie who's ever believed in the franchise's core ideal, infinite diversity and infinite combinations. What's next for the Captain of Cool? With an Oscar now on her shelf, Saldana's next steps are wide open. Rumors swirl about a Star Trek sequel, a third Avatar, and even a directorial debut. But one thing is certain, she's not slowing down. Asked backstage what the award meant to her, Saldana smiled and said, "It means I don't have to prove anything to anyone anymore. I can just do what I love and maybe help others believe they can too."